You are most welcome to our second lesson, and we are going to continue from where we ended last time. But maybe before we continue, I would like us to have at least a correction of the other questions that we had. I remember I gave you three questions. The first question was saying that name the factor, the major factor that determines, you have that question there, that determines the growth of equatorial rainforests, and we say that factor as, I know you have that answer, and that was plenty of rainfall throughout the year. The second one, we also say that how does competition for sunlight affect the growth of equatorial rainforests? And I remember I explained from there, and we say that the competition for sunlight helps or makes the trees grow very tall. And I wanted to have a bit of correction that we had the word competition, and I know you must have checked in the dictionary and we corrected it and we wrote it with E, that it was supposed to be like this. So if you corrected it, that was nice and good. Then we also say mention, you give the characteristics, any two characteristics of equatorial rainforests, and we had listed very many of the characteristics, and you can tell me some or go through the notes that we had. But we want to pick one of the characteristics, and remember we say that in equatorial rainforests there are many tree species, and at that point exactly is where we want to pick our lesson for today. We want to look at the tree species. Tree species. Tree species found in tropical rainforests. In tropical rainforests. Like that. As one of our characteristics that we mentioned, that these forests have many tree species. What do we mean by tree species? We are meaning that the variety of trees. It is not like a planted forest where you may have only and only one tree species where the plant or the person chooses to plant. So what are some of the tree species that we find in equatorial rainforests? I know you are following maybe from a textbook, but the major tree species we have one, Muvule trees. Now, it is very common for us to have this as a mistake. As it sounds Muvule, but it is Muvule as we have written it here. We also have another tree species as mahogany trees. Mahogany trees. We also have ebony trees. We have ebony trees. Remember, if you are writing, you have to write them neatly without joining these letters or without joining the words. That can be a very common mistake that we make. We also have the rosewood trees. Rosewood trees. Rosewood we also have African walnut. African walnut nut trees. Walnut, check the spelling correctly. Here we also have the green heart trees. The green heart trees. Green heart is one like this. Green heart trees. We also have the teak trees. The teak trees. We have the teak trees and many other trees that you will check in your country. So it now answers our characteristic that we say that it has many tree species. The tropical rainforests have many tree species. Now, in these tropical rainforests, people may not live inside the forests, but they live outside and the outskirts of the forest. What activities can these people do from these forests? There are those that can be done inside, then there are those that can be done by people who are living around those forests. So, having written this, let's look at the economic activities that people can move from there. So, we want to look at economic activities. Economic activities carried out in tropical rainforests of Africa. The tropical rainforests of Africa. Which economic activities? You know, an economic activity is what people do to earn income or to earn a living. So what do they do? Looking at this, we said that the place has many tree species, as we have seen from here. What economic activity do you expect to be promoted by these many tree species? And one of it is in lumbering. And this is the major economic activity, lumbering. Lumbering, we say, is the cutting down of mature trees for timber. So why is lumbering carried out? Here we are saying it is the major activity. And what makes lumbering to be done commonly there? It is because of the many tree species. So we say lumbering is carried out due to presence of many trees. We also have other activities. We have tourism. In these forests, you will find that there are very many species. These very species of the trees, the scientists learn. We also have other animals, like especially the primates that live in these forests. We also have birds and many other insects. All of these attract the tourists. So tourism is carried out. We also have outskirts of the forests, that is in the area where there is flood. Then those people who stay near, you will find what we call crop farming or crop growing. And the trees, the crops that are mainly grown here, you will find that they are plantation crops. When we were looking at climate, we saw the equatorial climate and the crops grow. You we have the oil palm trees, we also have rubber, we also have cocoa and many others. So crop farming. Now, why is crop farming mainly also carried out in areas around the equatorial rainforests? This crop farming is brought about by one of the influence, and that is plenty of rainfall that these areas receive. So sometimes they can ask you that give a reason why crop farming is carried out in the equatorial region. So you have to say that the area receives plenty of rainfall. Sometimes they can also say, how do equatorial rainforests promote crop farming? They help in rain formation, and that is why crop farming is done. Remember, this one requires rainfall, as we have said. So we also have another activity that we may end with, and others subjected, making of some crafts, making of some crafting materials, some craft materials. It is common within the people who live in the Congo forests. For them, they make their craft materials, especially these stools that are made with soft wood, putting a ring. They also make baskets. They can also access fiber, and they will use it for making many craft materials that people use at home. Those are some of the activities I can give you for now. Now, we have seen tree species, characteristics, economic activities. Let's look at some of the countries in Africa where we can find these forests. Which countries are covered or have these forests? Here we look at the countries. If you have an atlas, you can open your atlas on vegetation, and then you look up some of the countries that are covered. So we want to look at countries in Africa, countries in Africa which have equatorial, which have tropical rainforests. And it is in those countries where these activities that we have seen are carried out. So, if you are following exactly with your atlas, you'll be able to name some of the countries, but I may not here. So we have the neighbor of Uganda to the west, and that is Democratic, one of the countries. We have Democratic Republic of Congo. The one that is shortly known as DRC. Most of this country's part is covered by the tropical rainforest. That is where you get the Turi forests and others. We also have another country as Central African Republic. We have Central African Republic. It is also one of the countries that has many tropical rainforests. So this one, maybe you can also see that is Central African Republic in short like that. We also have another country like Gabon. We have Gabon as one of the countries. You might have seen in your atlas, if you are following with me, we have Cameroon. It's also another one. Then we have Equatorial Guinea. And Equatorial Guinea, sometimes it is a common mistake for most of the people to put G-I and then put like this. It is G-U-I-N-E-A. And we have the Congo Republic. I can give you only 6. I know you are going to look at some. Congo Republic. So, and many others, as you have seen, if you are following me in your textbook or in Atlas, you find that Congo Republic is one, and many other countries are covered by this. Now, we want to look at how important these forests are. It is very, very important for countries to conserve these forests in Africa. And for which reasons should they conserve these countries? So I want to look at the importance of equatorial rainforests. Importance of equatorial rainforests. Importance of equatorial rainforests. How are these forests important? These forests are very important to our environment. So you might have known how important a forest is, and we want to go through some of them. One, we say that the trees in the forests provide hardy wood. These forests provide hardy wood, and this wood is used in many activities. For example, when we get timber, provide hardwood timber. Let me add that one, timber, which is used in construction or making of furniture and many other activities. Another thing, we also say that these equatorial forests modify the climate. Forests modify the climate. When we look at this word modify, what does this word mean? They improve the climate of an area, making it good for us to live in. How do forests modify the climate of an area? How do forests modify the climate? Can be a question. That how do forests help to modify the climate of an area? Modify the climate of an area through helping in rain formation. That is the way in which forests modify the climate of an area. So if they ask you how forests are important, they modify the climate, they say how do they do so? They help in rain formation. How do forests still help in rain formation? Help in rain formation, let me add, through the process of transpiration. This one is mostly used in science through the process of transpiration. We also say that these forests attract tourists. As we say, tourists. As we said the other time, that tourism is one of the activities that tourists visit these forests, they bring income. So forests attract tourists who bring income. Who bring income and earn the government income through the tourists. We also say that these very forests are sources. They are sources of wood fuel. Now, what is this wood fuel? Here we find firewood and charcoal. However, it is not good for people to go and clear forests because they want charcoal. That one will lead to deforestation. But they can, as they cut out lumber, the remains of those stems, remains of the branches is what people are devised to use in order to get this wood fuel. They can chop it into firewood or they can make charcoal from that one. So also we have that forests provide electric poles. Some time back before, when metals had not yet come very well, most of the electric poles were got from these forests. However, today the government are trying to use metals to extend electricity from one place to another. Could be it is just a way of conserving this very forest. Now we also say that these forests here promote human health. They also promote human health. But I can ask you a question and say, how do these forests promote human health today or in areas where people are found or in our environments? So we also say that they are a source. They are a source of herbs. Today we have many herbal research institutes. They depend on the forests. That is where they get their herbs. They come and preserve it or work upon it, preserve, and people go and buy. So if they ask you that, give one way in which forests promote human health, you can say forests provide or a source of herbs used to treat some diseases. I can give you one tree that you can also plant at home. You can have neem tree. In case you are planting your plantation forest, put a neem tree also there. It will help you, and you will use the leaves to treat yourself and many others. We also say that to animals, these forests are good. To animals, not only to human beings. To animals, these forests also provide a natural habitat for them. For example, monkeys, have the mountain gorillas, we have many other primates. They go and live there. Apart from those ones that are taken mainly to the zoos. So we say that these forests provide a natural habitat to wild animals. here. If they ask a question and say, mention any 2 ways in which forests, equatorial or natural forests, are important to people, do not come and say forests provide a natural habitat to wild animals. You will have gone astray, because the question is asking you to people. But if they also say, mention 1 way in which animals or wild animals benefit from natural forests. The natural forest provides them with the natural habitat, also provides them with the food. So you have to make sure that you read that question and see exactly what they have asked. Now, we want to look at the problems faced by forests today. 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 It can be in Uganda, it can be in Uganda, it can be in any country of Africa. What are some of the problems you have seen? One of the problems is human encroachment. Human encroachment. Human beings or people encroach these forests in order to get land. Encroachment for farmland. People want to farm land. People want to get at least where to grow crops. So they go on the cutting, they encroach, enter inside the forest. At the long run, the forests disappear. Example is our Great Mabera forest. It used to be a great forest, but as we see now, Mabera is no longer existing at large. Why? It is due to human encroachment for farmland. There are also human activities increasing. We also say they are facing increasing human activities like industrialization, we also have urbanization, and many others have led to destruction of forests. I want to give you an example. Before, there is a place, as you are going to Kampala, called the Namawagyo. Most of you go to Kampala, know it. As you are going from the east, there is that place there. That place used to be a forest, but due to creation of urban centers, they cleared that. Most industrial parks today, like the Namave Industrial Park, all that area also had forest, but it was cleared. So that's why we are saying the increasing human activities like industrialization, urbanization, and many others have led to the destruction of forests. We also have one as wild bush fires. Some people set fire, maybe clearing the gardens, and you'll find that all those forests are burnt, and it is one of the dangers that's facing forest. And finally, we have climatic changes. Climatic changes. How do climatic changes become a problem to these forests? So we have climatic changes like drought. Climatic changes like drought, that reduce the growth of these forests, or the expanse of these forests, that reduce the expansion of these forests. So you will find that if drought comes, the other trees which would have continue growing outside and make that area become thick, will not continue growing, hence controlling the expansion of the forest and they remain within the mature trees. Now, these forests, there are people who settle in those forests, around those forests. Others even settle in, like the pygmies in the Ituri forests. We want to look at which problems do they face, which problems do people who live around there face. We are looking at problems faced by people who live in equatorial forests. So, problems faced by people who live in tropical rain forests. Imagine you are the one living in or near tropical, thick tropical Ituri forest in DRC. Which problems do you expect to find? Which problems do you expect to find in living in such areas? First of all, some of these forests provide a good condition for the vectors, maybe like flies, to live in, and therefore you will easily also be attacked by such vectors. So we are saying attacks by disease vectors, you can be attacks by disease vectors, e.g. flies. If the forest provides if the forest provides a good habitat for those vectors, you can also be attacked. We have also another one that attacks by dangerous wild animals. For example, lions that may live there. That's by dangerous wild animals that live in forests. They can easily attack you and eat you. We also have another one that this forest may become a hiding place for criminals. People, groups like rebels, robbers, and many others. It is a very good habitat for them. So if you go, they can easily attack you from there. So we also say that attacks by criminals, we call them wrong people, criminals like rebels. We also have, can say rebels, can also say robbers. They might rob you and enter there, and many others. Here we can also look at the example of the Congo forests. There have been great rebels there, and those people have attacked very many people in that area, because this forest provides them a good area to to live and carry out their activity. Then, for the people who grow crops around, you may say that wild animals may destroy crops grown by people near. So those people who live near, you can grow your crops, but wild animals may come in and destroy. So these are some of the problems faced by people from there. And finally, we also have that there is poor road network. Poor road network due to soggy soils. The soils are so soft in the way that it is very difficult to construct roads in such areas. I think for today we have got that. I would like to give you some more questions, and you will also have to do it in consultation with your textbook, with your atlas, and also what we have covered. So you can prepare, sit well. If you have been following me, I am going to give very few questions, and then you will try on your own, following what we have learned. So we have activity here. Number 1, we are saying name any 2 tree species found in the tropical rainforests. Tropical forests of Africa. You will follow, we'll talk about the tree species. Number 2, we shall also say how do forests promote human health in our environment. We went through this, so you will have to check from there. We also say in which way do forests help to modify the climate of an area. We also saw that one. Then we say mention any 3 countries in Africa that have tropical rainforests. And our last question for today. Is How rainforests, that is number 5, that how do rainforests promote crop farming? How do rainforests promote crop farming? I think with these 5 questions, you will work and do them. Stay safe, stay well. Thank you for listening.